if you're on the far right or far left, no one cares. You're not right. No one cares about you. You're not doing anything good, period. No matter how hard you convince yourself of that. Losers. Who said it? Someone's like, we need an extreme middle, extreme center. Well, you're looking at them, I guess.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Oh, Monster Energy presents Waiting to Drive. Conversations about creativity on steroids. This ain't your grandma's art podcast. I am Sergio Lopez.
I'm Josh Lawyer.
And I am kind of under the weather, so if my voice sounds weird, that's why.
Way to build it up to knock it back down.
Exactly. That's what we do here.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we have no guests today. We had a guest lined up, but that fell through, so.
Yep.
What can you do? But yeah, I had good times. How was your fourth?
My fourth was kind of not great. Well, what happened, so I got an invite to go check out the fireworks in Windsor, and that was on Wednesday. Right. I didn't know that Windsor does their fireworks on July 3rd.
I knew that.
So I did not. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, nobody said that to me. So I went to the location that we were supposed to go to.
On the 4th?
On the 4th.
Like, wow, it's dead here. Yeah. I got really good parking.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm here. And they're like, oh, I forgot to tell you that Windsor does their fireworks on the 3rd. So I'm like, oh, all right.
Nice. Is that person dead to you?
She's on thin ice. So then instead I went to the movies. I went to go see the new horror movie.
Midsommar?
Uh-huh.
How'd you like it?
It was good.
Were you scared?
Not scared. Definitely creeped out in certain spots of it. I don't know. You haven't watched it, have you?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you compare it to Hereditary.
Hereditary is definitely more of the scarier one. Hereditary overall is a better movie.
All right. So the hype is it's overhyped then. Is
Midsommar really overhyped right now?
Well, they were saying that it's like I think Jordan Peele said it's like the best horror film ever made or something like that, or like the perfect horror film or something like that.
I wouldn't go that far.
So I was like, really? It's even better than Hereditary, but I don't know. The hype kind of died when it dropped, I feel like. I mean, I still really want to watch it, but I think, I don't know. There's a machine usually behind these things that build a lot of hype.
For sure.
But when the streets ain't talking, then usually I'm like, all right, it's probably not as great as the build-up to it was.
Yeah.
Suggesting.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you like to do this at all, but I sometimes will read like criticisms of a movie after I've watched it.
No.
Oh, okay. I just like to hear what other people think. If my criticisms of the movie are the same as other people's. And, yeah, some people I thought were pretty much spot on with, like, because I liked the movie, but there were definitely some things I thought could have been done way better. But yeah, overall, like, gorgeous movie, like the setting and everything like that.
How about the was it like a packed crowd?
No, I was actually the only person there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I went to the Rialto in Sebastopol, so I don't know if there's that many people there on a late showing anyway. So, yeah, nice. I was there last showing, and I was the only person in the theater.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that might have taken from the experience, but having it all to yourself, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's happened to me a couple of times where I'm the only person in the theater watching movies.
I mean, for me, horror films are like the one thing I don't want to watch in a theater because I feel like all like the outside distractions kind of take from it.
Right.
And then I have like usually comedy is like the one genre that I'm okay watching because it's kind of like a crowd experience. Like,
right.
You all can
the
laugh.
laughter kind of heightens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So that's kind of why I haven't watched it yet, but maybe I'll try to watch it with MJ now because she's been bugging me to watch it. I'm like, I don't want the crowds. I don't want it to ruin it. But if we can do a late showing at Sebastopol and be the only ones, sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah. Just carve out a good chunk of time. It's a long ass movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
That might be hard for MJ. She's not good in the theater. She falls asleep almost all the time.
One of the things I appreciated about it was like this. I'm just gonna say this juxtaposition.
God damn it!
This J word of
motherfucker
of beauty and horror.
Put a dollar in the jar.
Like because
we should start on the side. We should start a jar that says juxtaposition jar.
But yeah, like it's this beautiful setting. There's flowers and stuff everywhere, but then there's all these horrific things happening around it. It's like, oh, that's an interesting way to I guess heighten the just what's happening on screen, getting like counteracted with the natural beauty of the scenery around it.
Right.
I thought that was a pretty. I'd never seen it quite that way, done quite in that way before.
Yeah. I can't think of any horror film that tried to do both things at once, at least.
So yeah,
I think of
definitely gets effort points in that regard for me.
It's interesting when like horror seems to have this like big like renaissance or some shit going on right now, where it's like the genre is being redefined, kind of. As like it's getting respect. It seems it's from the industry as and it's interesting to see that happen and kind of think of like what's like why that is, and if you can learn something for yourself as like an art form, creating from those like from moments like that. I know I was listening to Eric Weinstein, one of the Weinsteins on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about surfing. And he was, and how it's like coming, like they're learning to do bigger and better things based on the fact that they've kind of made it safer to do it. They've built safety around it, which has allowed them to take bigger risks. And I thought that was super interesting too. Like, the cause and effect of something allowing you to do something else to push yourself in your art form or whatever.
A lot of times that's technical innovation,
right? And for surfing, that technical innovation is safety, allows for safety, which then allows them to push hard. And then for horror, it's weird because I don't know how much horror relies on like the technical, like it seems like they rely less on that than, I don't know. The storytelling just seems to be so much better, and the execution of that story seems to be so well done nowadays.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Hereditary for me overall was a better movie, but I think
you just watched it, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I just watched Hereditary on my laptop versus Midsommar on the big screen.
That'll do a difference.
Yeah. So like there were scenes in Midsommar which were like stuck with me longer than Hereditary.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to watch it.
I mean, there's horrific things that happen in both of them for sure.
Yeah, there's scenes that I think are so good in Hereditary, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you could see the because Hereditary is probably the one horror film that I could think of where there's this there's this artistic theme throughout the movie that goes alongside.
You mean because she's an artist?
Yeah, and the whole idea that like I think the opening shot is kind of like where they zoom into her. I forget what those things are called. You know,
Dioramas.
Diorama. Yeah. They zoom into this diorama and then like pulls out and it kind of turns into the real world or something like that. And I think when I finished watching that movie, I realized that the biggest fear about that was kind of, it felt like you were eavesdropping in on this real event that was happening to this family, and it parallels like her artwork. Like it's almost like it's like commentating on us as the viewer watching this thing.
Yeah.
While like, you know, and I thought the way the director shoots it, he kind of plays with that a lot throughout the whole movie. So I thought that it was just very like artistically done and thoughtful about that like random detail of the whole thing. And then the fact that the scariest thing is it feels like something real that you're kind of eavesdropping in makes it so much better to me, because it's like you actually executed that so well, where the reason I'm terrified is because the whole overall like artistic view you're giving us, you know, it's like that's what's scary, oddly enough, is that we're creeping into this diorama of a movie.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
So but yeah. So if I, that's like the one, if I had to think about it, where it's like very, like the artistry or whatever of it didn't take, like he didn't go to the wayside for horror, for like jump scares or some shit, you know, it was very clear cut, and like it seemed like they had a very clear point of view that they wanted to get through, and they nailed it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there are any jump scares in Hereditary.
Maybe not like jump scares, but like little like creepy, like kind of moments, you know, like where they'll like the grandma will be like in the dark or something like.
Oh, sure, like yeah.
Where it's not really like giving you a big bang to like make you jolt, but it's like, oh, that's creepy. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is. I can't remember. But yeah, there is a scare that'll pop your head off. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So that's what you did for 4th? Nice.
And then, the rest of the week it was just been laying low, because I woke up Friday like feeling like a cold was coming on. So then it's just been that for the rest of the weekend.
That sucks.
Yeah. When I ran into you guys, what was it, Saturday night? I was like, I was feeling pretty shitty. That's why I talked even less than normal.
For sure. Yeah, we had a lot of talkers that night anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did absolutely barely anything for my weekend, which was fucking amazing. I really enjoyed that. Being burnt out and then like having 4 days where you're like, by the end of 4 days I'm like, I want to do something is a great feeling.
So is the burnout feeling pretty much gone then?
Yeah, for the most part I think so.
That's good.
The issue I see looming up ahead is that I'm gonna start this mural this week at the thingamajig, the Harbor or Roseland Hardware.
Yeah.
So that might shoot me right back into burnout mode.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully we can kind of see if we can manage that better.
What are your plans for it so far? Like how much, like, I guess, time per day do you have slotted out for it?
I'm not sure yet. MJ was the one kind of managing the amount of time we have the scissor lift, but I talked to her yesterday, the day before, and I was like, That is incorrect. How you how you plan that. So we might have to I'm gonna have to step in and change a couple things. Because MJ's like, I put the scissor lift for the very end of our mural, which literally makes no sense to me.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know what we would do without the scissor lift.
Right.
Yeah. So, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This is learning pains or whatever the fuck they're called. Growing pains or
Sure.
I don't know what the term is. Some shit like that.
I think learning pains works for this too.
Sure. But yeah. So hopefully I can stay as little burnt out as possible throughout this process. But we'll see.
Do you have any gallery shows or anything that you have to worry about?
I have a commission that I need to start working on hard.
Oh, okay.
That I haven't gotten to, but she seems cool about it. But yeah, it's not cool that I haven't. We've finally photographed it, I think, last week.
Okay.
We finally got the photograph. We finally, because it's a diptych, so we had to get 2 models together to shoot.
Really?
For that.
Oh, wow.
And then, so we finally got that, and then now in my garage was a full-on mess, so I cleaned that this weekend, which was nice, and so now I can get back in my studio. And I was kind of neglecting my studio for a bit, just because I was burnt out and I didn't want to take the time to clean it.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it's clean, so I can make some panels for that and start chipping away at that.
How big is the piece or the diptych?
Not that big.
Oh, okay.
I actually might make it bigger than she paid for, just because I want to paint it bigger, because the size she has, I think it'll be tougher to do it smaller. So
there's no size restrictions on her end, right? Like the space she wants to put in?
No, I think it was all cost end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think she wanted it bigger, and she was like, man, we'll go with the cheapest one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I should start working on, me and MJ are working on that one together. So, yeah, so pretty soon me and MJ are going to just melt into one person.
Will it be harder to talk shit about her than when you guys are both the same person?
No, I talk plenty shit about myself. That never stopped me. So yeah, that'll be fine. But yeah, it sucks because I feel like me and MJ, we have this relationship where we talk shit to each other nonstop. Like we're perfectly fine with this.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, do people think I'm an asshole?
Well, the problem is they don't get to hear MJ's rebuttals. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a one-way conversation with MJ that I have recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when I'm 90, when I'm dead, she can come back and listen to me talk shit to her about her,
Yeah,
and reminisce.
Yeah, because the women always live longer than the men. So
that's right.
Just has to be patient.
But yeah, I don't know. 4th of July was a fun, good time for me.
Did you do anything?
For the actual 4th,
yeah,
I literally sat here and hung out with Kaneba, my good friend Kaneba and Gilbert, and we just drank and hung out and did nothing, which was nice.
Sounds pretty great.
Yeah, I made watermelon juice from watermelon, and
did you spike it?
Yeah,
nice.
I added vodka to that bitch.
Yeah,
yeah, it was delicious.
Sounds like it.
And that's the most American I got that day. I was drinking watermelon juice with vodka, which is pretty American. But yeah, nothing much. Which was great. I'm so happy. I wish I could never go back to work. That's one of those things where it's like, oh, this feels great. How do I do this for the rest of my life?
Right.
God. Whatever.
Move to an island.
I know. Sell my house and go move to Detroit. I'll have enough money to buy a house in the state tax for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
Do you follow cheap old houses on Instagram? I think it is.
Cheap old houses.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, there's always these like crazy old mansions from like Rust Belt era, like when there was a lot of money and steel and all that. And so like there's these like crazy ass old mansions that, you know, they're obviously all fixer uppers, but
Right.
they're places like Troy, New York, and you can find like a mansion for like 40 grand.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And yeah, you can tell they're of the era because they got like this crazy old like Art Deco wallpaper still intact and everything. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, the problem is you have to live in like upstate New York or like Ohio or
Is
something.
it that bad? Is upstate New York
Those-
that bad?
I'm sure in the summer it's all right, but getting through those like 6-7 months of misery, yeah, I'm not built for that.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. God, why isn't there somewhere why doesn't Santa Rosa just become that? You know what I mean? How do we make Santa Rosa's economy crash so hard?
Those fires need to burn all the wine crops.
Well, technically, I don't want Santa Rosa. I want a neighboring city to be in a weird bubble where only their economy crashes,
Yeah.
and I can sell my house and buy a house there for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I don't know.
We're looking at you, Kaya.
If you have a time machine, and you can go back in time, is your first thing to go and like make yourself rich? Do you think, or kill Hitler, or I mean, what do you think you do first?
That's a good question. Do I go completely selfish first? My instincts are probably most likely that. But yeah, it's the whole butterfly effect thing, though, right?
Fuck
you never
a butterfly, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I guess you try to do both. But
What if you just so a time machine? Technically, you should be able to go forward as well, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Couldn't you just go forward and steal some information and then go back to your normal self and then use that information to make a shitload of money?
So you go straight up Biff from Back to the Future too.
Yeah, but wasn't Biff was kind of like a butterfly effect, wasn't it?
Oh,
Like you went back in, but if you went to like the future, figured out some shit, came back to now, then you would still be you, but then you would be like, plus I got these secrets in my pocket that I get to like make money off of.
right.
Like invest in like, I don't know, some fucking company that looks like a stupid company, but in the future it'll make Apple look lame. Like if, you know, like Amazon, for instance,
Oh, right. Yeah.
you know, if you had a time machine back when Amazon was fucking slinging books,
Right.
then you could look like a fucking genius right now.
Exactly. But then you see in the future and figure out, do I want to come back to that? Like, how far in the future would you want to go to know, like, what happens?
I don't know. I would want to go all the way to the end, to the end of humanity.
And just figure out when that is and just,
I mean, I would.
like, all right. Now I know how much time we got
At
left.
some point.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be the first thing, but I would definitely
Right.
be like, let's go see how bad this shit gets at the
Right,
end.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Just land in the middle of World War V.
You killing Hitler?
Yeah.
What version of Hitler? Baby Hitler?
I guess, yeah. Maybe wait until he does something shitty.
Art
first.
school Hitler.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because you have an in.
Right.
You're like, look at my shit, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Just enroll in that same art school and yeah, no whatever.
Wait, did he make it to art school or did he not get accepted? I forget the story of.
I want to say he was in art school or
He just didn't make
like
it
failed
professional.
out. I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a historian when it comes
He's
to
not into his style.
yeah.
But yeah, that would be probably the. You would wait till he did something bad. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of.
Well, not when he starts like killing the first people. I just mean like, I don't know, maybe he, I don't know, steals something. Like,
You're like dead.
yeah. This is for your own good. Yeah.
But that's a big butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Because that's,
I mean,
you just threw 3 million people back into the mix.
Right.
That
yeah.
are gone. Plus Russia.
Right.
Lost
Maybe
like,
that makes
like 9 million or something. I forget how much they lost through that war.
Yeah, I think like over 10.
Yeah. And then,
yeah, who knows? Maybe that makes
Japan.
Yeah.
That's the fucking nuclear bomb. And what are you doing, Sergio? What kind of evil person are you?
What's your answer to that?
Nah, let Hitler live. You got to keep your keep the bad people alive. So we fucking don't. There's gonna be a bad guy at some point, right? I mean,
yeah, there was plenty of bad guys in the 20th century.
That time seemed ripe for the fucking picking for evil people. So I don't know.
Maybe you go further back and try and prevent World War I from happening. I don't know.
Man, I just let that shit ride.
Yeah.
I'm not changing shit in the past. I'm only gonna. The only thing I would do was try to figure out how to make money. I wouldn't try to like kill anyone or stop any war.
Yeah.
I think I would only go like, how can I make money? And I don't even know if that's possible in present time. And if you have a time machine, does that mean you get to just fucking? You're not invisible, right?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I don't even fucking use a time machine. To be honest.
Talk yourself out of a time machine.
Fuck all that responsibility. I'm too dumb. I'm not trying to fucking do that. All that pressure on me, I'd be like, well, okay. Somehow I stumbled upon this time machine. Yeah. Don't ask how. Obviously, I didn't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's like, my thing would be like, all right, I gotta go find like the smartest person I could think of, which I don't know who the fuck that would be, with some ethics, and then tell them, and they'd probably be like, I'm not touching that shit. I don't know if anyone really wants to fucking go back in time.
Yeah.
If you do, you're probably not the person to go back in time. Because, you'd fucking become like, what's his name, disappearing. You'd kill Hitler. No, not Thanos, but...
well, you were looking at your hand like you were looking like you were wearing your glove.
Michael J. Fox, his hand starts disappearing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like the second you probably kill Hitler, you disappear instantly. And so do probably a shitload of people.
Well, there's that whole theory of like you go, you end up on alternate timelines whenever you change anything. So
yeah, I wonder if that's kind of been proven at all.
Yeah, I'm not a quantum physicist, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
What the fuck's your problem?
Need a new podcast guest now, or host.
Or just go back to school. You know what I mean? Stop wasting your time painting and become what you've always meant to become.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was meant to become. Wasting my time with my paints.
Make sure your mom hears that I said that so she can be happy that I'm pushing you in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know the fuck we got there, but we got there. Time machine.
Yeah. How much does the average astrophysicist make? No idea.
I don't know. Not enough for that brain power. Do you go back to see the dinosaurs?
Depends. Yeah, like how long do I have to stay there? Do I just take a quick look-see and take off?
That's the thing. Do I have a force field that protects me? I definitely want to see what the fuck a T-Rex does with those little arms.
Yeah.
If anything, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And why does a time machine have to stay on the ground? How come it can't fly? It's got the fucking ability to travel in time, but you can't like float above everyone. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But it would be awesome to see a T-Rex do its thing.
Yeah.
So I assume it's probably way lamer than we all expect.
Yeah, it could be totally like, yeah, do dinosaurs actually have feathers like they say?
Right. Yeah.
See all that shit. Like, what did we get wrong and right about history?
Yeah. Jesus. Go back and see Jesus.
Right, yeah, totally.
I don't remember if it's Family Guy or The Simpsons, but I remember they go back in time and they see Jesus and he's doing that like this trick, like the thumb.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the,
yeah.
Like
I
the
think it was Family Guy, yeah.
Thinking he's just like, it's just like not a miracle at all, but everyone's hilarious joke. But yeah, that's always a thing. It's like going back and seeing this guy Jesus and seeing if he was full of shit or something. I mean, I assume he was full of shit, but but you know what I mean? Or like if the hype was anywhere near what he deserved.
Right, yeah.
But there was like barely anybody on Earth at that point, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. There were probably 1 million or so. Yeah.
On Earth?
Yeah.
That's not shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You can build hype hella easy, I guess. If there's 1 million people, things like if 100,000 people know, that's like a huge percentage of the Earth.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's got, and then Buddha was fucking way before him, right? Let's go check out Buddha.
Was he? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Buddha was before Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't remember how far, but I thought it was way before. Let's Google it.
Go Google that shit. Don't everybody believe in Google?
What are we looking at? Where is he at? 563 BC.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah.
About 500 years before.
You ever watch that movie? I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it has to do with this guy, and he's like immortal. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
To give me a little bit more info.
That was kind of a spoiler. It's like a not that well known of a movie, and it's kind of not that well done. But
what? When did it come out? Around? Is it 80s movie? 90s?
Maybe like early thousands.
Okay.
And what it is like this teacher who has to leave town. He's like, oh, I'm leaving, and they're throwing him like a party.
Okay.
And then it kind of goes a little haywire. And then you figure out that the guy and the main guy that's leaving is immortal. It's not like clear in the movie. And that he was the guy that was Jesus. But he was like in the movie is like, I didn't plan on doing any of that. I just was like trying to spread like Buddha's word or some shit. I don't know. It's I'm making it sound really bad, but it's
well, you already said it wasn't a great movie.
Well, the storyline was kind of interesting, but like the way they filmed it was like a B movie. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like it wasn't like anything that was going to make a ton of money. It was like an indie film or something like that.
Oh, all right.
So, but yeah, it was. I don't know what the fuck to.
Well, what was the reason for bringing that up?
Just the whole talk about Buddha and Jesus.
Oh, okay.
It just reminded me of that movie of like this thing where like this guy, because it was like a thing where it was almost portrayed kind of like, you know, the Green Mile, John Coffey. He kind of is like a super old person, but like he's an immortal kind of, but they never really. Like, it's not like Highlander or something.
Yeah. It's
just like some guy that has this thing that he can't control. And he was just like, I don't know why this happens to me. Or why I'm this person that lives forever while everyone else dies. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. It seemed like it tied into the whole thing. Someone else has seen this movie and they're yelling, maybe. Or maybe not. I don't fucking know.
Maybe they're all like, oh yeah, that movie sounds sort of familiar. No one's like that passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know.
It's not like, what's that Tom Cruise movie where they're flying jets? Or what's it called? Somebody's like, Top Gun, you idiots.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if I don't know Top Gun, I mean.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I think they'll forgive us for not knowing this movie by name.
Yeah, I can't even really remember. I know there's like one guy that's on like a working actor,
like still in things,
but he's not like a big working, like if you see me, like, oh, that guy, I've seen him in things.
Yeah.
But you could never put your finger on where.
Right.
Or else I would look up that guy right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't remember anything he's on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good times. But yeah, the fuck are we talking about? Religion, guys. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about these thingies you have?
Sure. Let's start with the one in the middle.
Middle.
Yeah, SFMoMA. So
They sold the Rothko.
yeah, they sold a Rothko for $50 million, and this is what they bought with it. So
They bought that?
that's one of them. They bought a bunch of different things, but I thought one of them was pretty interesting that they got.
Oh, Barry McGee. Dude, fucking Robert Garcia. We've talked about him before. He's a buddy of mine.
Mm-hmm.
He just bought 2 Barry McGee panels. They look very similar to this.
Oh, really?
At an Oakland flea market.
Oh, really? No shit.
Yeah, he posted them on Instagram. I was like, holy fuck, man. Did I skip it?
No, I think that was everything they got. But yeah, they didn't disclose how much they paid for any of these pieces, but be curious to know how much that Barry McGee
SFMoMA is
went for.
a private
Well, museums make acquisitions all the time, or like, sell and buy and sell their things.
I have no idea how museums work at all. It's a part of the art world I don't get at all.
Well, yeah, I guess they were trying to.
Is this the person that painted the Obama?
No, I forget her name, but yeah, I guess they were trying to be a bit more ethnically and culturally diverse in their stuff, which sounds about right for SFMoMA. But I thought it was interesting that they chose to buy a Barry McGee. It looks like an early one.
Yeah.
93.
Yeah, it's pretty early. That's probably good for my homie that just bought one as well at the flea market.
Do you know how much he paid for it?
I don't know. He couldn't have paid that much for it. He didn't have that much money.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
he has a good job, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the person even knew what they had.
Oh, they seem like they did. So I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't really see his stuff for sale that often. Maybe I'm not looking too hard for it, but
yeah, he doesn't show that often. It seems like, and he'll do like a solo show or that like Ratio Gallery in San Francisco or whatever it's called, Ratio 9 or Radio 9 or something. I can't remember what it is.
yeah, I can't remember
And then
either.
he does like museum shows, but I don't know too much about buying his shit.
This is not a current event at all, looking at the date, but Gage Optenbrow shared this on his Facebook recently. I thought it was pretty funny. That, I don't know, what do you think about Renoir's work? Do you think it's pretty shitty too?
I don't know. Renoir what did he paint again?
He painted like the heavy set ladies, like very impressionistically. Worked around the same time as like Degas and all them. Do they have any of his work showing there?
No,
Maybe not.
I know. Is he
It's
the one
kinda
that
like
does
that-
like the boat party one? Is that him?
Maybe. I
Yeah,
think.
like this one. Yeah, this is who I'm thinking of. Maybe this isn't even on a fucking boat. I don't know why I thought it was. Yeah, this is who I was thinking of, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I hate his? I don't know. I'm neither here nor there. This is the guy that's on the Emily movie, right? The one that the guy paints over and over.
Oh, okay.
Isn't this the artist he's painting?
Probably.
I think it's like
I don't really remember that movie very well.
It's your problem. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but I don't really hate his work. I just don't care.
Right.
I don't know. Why do you hate his work?
No, I'm kind of indifferent about it too.
Is he the Nazi guy or whatever? Was it? He wasn't that guy, right?
I don't think so.
Wasn't there like some famous like Nazi painter or some shit? He painted like a lot of ballerinas. I don't fucking know.
I have no idea. I don't think Degas is like a...
God hates Renoir. These guys look like they're full of shit. Are they serious?
I think it's a lot of it done in tongue in cheek, but I don't know. I just thought it was pretty ridiculous.
And what's their reasoning?
They think he's super overrated.
But they're saying God hates.
Yeah, well, I think they're poking fun of the...
Oh, I see.
Of the God hates fags guys. But, yeah, like that person says, we're not iconoclast. Renoir just sucks at painting. And like if you go on their Instagram, they have a bunch of pictures of people at museums, like pointing to some like particularly like shitty anatomy part of a Renoir painting, and they're just kind of like pointing at it and making faces.
Kind of like how our listeners will flick off Pollock.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like the equivalent of our listeners doing this to Renoir.
I mean, Renoir is way better than some other people, I don't know, in my opinion.
Right.
So, I don't know, maybe start at the bottom and then move your way up to him.
Right.
I don't know. Like, there's way more people you passed up before hitting on Renoir sucks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know too many people who really like his work anyway, so it's like not a big thing that people are like, oh, we gotta take Renoir down.
Right.
But I don't know, I just thought it was pretty funny that there are people out there who care that much about him to
nerds.
Make, yeah, exactly.
And this is the last
and then
one.
this one, I don't even know if it's worth really talking about, but it's a art thing, kind of.
Oh, I heard about this. The George Washington mural.
Yeah, in is it Oakland?
I don't know.
It's a school. Maybe it's in San Francisco. Yeah, it's at George Washington High School in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they want to cover up this mural that was made in, I want to say like the 20s or 30s.
Okay.
And it depicts George Washington doing bad things to, or not him specifically, but putting Native, like it. I think it shows like some dead or subjugated Native Americans in some way. I think it shows like some black slaves in it, and yeah, they want to go over it, but
I want to see more pictures of it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any more in that picture, but I don't know. This is more like social commentary than really being an art topic.
Right.
But I don't know. Did you hear much about it? Like, what were your thoughts?
Well, I heard a little bit about it, but I didn't know what was on the mural. I mean, I don't know. It's tricky because I don't know. Is the idea that they think that this is glorifying slaves and the killing of Indians? And is it? I don't know. Like,
no, I don't know if that's really the problem they have with it, at least not from like the criticism that I heard about it. So I guess the original artist who made this mural was like either communist or like socialist. He was some sort of leftist party. Okay. And so in the mural, he was trying to depict like these aren't good things that we're doing to the subjects in the thing. So, but I guess what the criticism about it now is like, we don't want to have to, like when second and third graders come in and look at the,
at this high school.
Yeah, which like doesn't make sense to me either, because that was one of the things they said. Like I don't want to have to explain to third graders like why this, like what's going on in this mural, and like if without context, it's hard to understand why. So like they just see, oh, white person even though it's George Washington. Yeah, it's like white person over colored
So
subject matter.
who's going to explain to the high schoolers why there's third graders in their school?
Yeah,
That's stupid as fuck.
right.
God, I hate people. I mean, God, so stupid. It's such a dumb way of thinking. I always wonder if these people are that stupid, or if they just use this as like a fake reasoning. Why? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I have to think it's more of that.
like it's just, I don't know. I mean, $600,000 to do what? To repaint the new mural? Is that what?
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
What's up? Hit me up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll paint some butterflies and dandelions. Fuck it.
Yeah.
What's your school mascot? I'll paint that shit. The dolphin. I don't give a fuck. 600,000.
And I'll cut out this part of the podcast. You're not dumb.
But yeah, that's pretty fucking stupid. I don't know. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Though I don't know. I mean, the fact that this person in the 20s or whatever you said had the like idea to like have a message that was anti these like negative things,
Right. Yeah.
and then was able to paint it, and then for that image to last, and then for people to, for the dumbest reason, go like, let's just get rid of it.
Right.
Seems like a bunch of bullshit to me. It seems like dumb fucks got put in charge, and you know, the good old PC police trying to figure out a reason to hate on some shit,
Right.
trying to be a part of the conversation of, look, we also can cover up art. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It's like the trend of the day right now. It seems to be.
I'm all for, like, I'm not really a big fan of like Confederate statues being, being like all fucking high and mighty on their horses and being like,
Yeah.
look at us, we lost hella hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for like taking those down and putting them in museums somewhere
I agree.
as like a historical thing, you know? But this doesn't apply. It's not the fucking it's almost like doing commentary on the negatives that America, like our, you know, negative moment in our history.
Yeah. That's
just because you don't want to explain to a third grader that doesn't belong in high school.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where he said.
Fucking idiots.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it wasn't third grader. The person who's mainly wanting to take it off is a third grade teacher. So he's a vice president of the school board and a third grade teacher.
So he doesn't even fucking see this thing.
Yeah, he said students who must walk past the mural during the school day don't have a choice about seeing the harmful images. Painting over it represents not only a symbolic fresh start, but a real fresh start. But
what a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's just shelter kids from anything negative because they can't handle shit. These helicopter parents / teachers now. I don't know. In general, I don't. They're just assuming that kids are stupid or something.
yeah. Yeah, and it's at least when I was going to school, we talked about that kind of thing in school.
Right.
So it wasn't a thing that we were like,
There's harmful images you have to see when you learn history.
right.
In general, there's a bloodbath that happened throughout history.
Yeah.
And you have to, those are the moments most people teach about.
Yeah.
Are
exactly.
fucking wars and revolutions and you know, innocent lives taken. These are things they teach about. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Good on that person. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I forget if it was that article, but they're saying that most people were in agreement with the people with the opposite of that guy who wants to take it down. So not even like it's a fringe of that side already who even thinks it's a problem at all.
Right. That's the issue now, is the fucking squeaky wheels nowadays.
Exactly.
All these squeaky wheels fucking getting that oil.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else who doesn't agree with them, which seems to be the majority for the most part, we're just like have no say in shit. You know, these goddamn fucking idiots on both sides, these stupid morons.
Right.
I'm so tired of them.
And then, yeah, who gets the $600,000?
Yeah, these are the people that go full LARP, you know what I mean?
LARP, like the people who do live action role play.
Yeah, but I don't. That's a word I told MJ I want to start using as a negative for people that go too far in stupid shit. So yeah, they're big LARPs is what I call them. When they take things to the edge. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna fucking.
I just keep ignoring that shit as best as I can.
Yeah, I guess. Except for these fringe people just keep getting louder and dictating what I have to hear about.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
If you're on the far right or far left, no one cares. You're not right. No one cares about you. You're not doing anything good, period. No matter how hard you convince yourself of that. Losers. Who said it? Someone's like, we need an extreme middle, extreme center. While you're looking at them, I guess.
Yeah.
God,
that was Lauren Butcher.
Is that?
No. I mean, maybe he said
I thought
that.
I thought it was like a fucking, like a, I don't know, one of those like intellectual guys, or
probably
maybe Bill Maher or some shit. I don't know who the fuck it was.
That sounds like something he would say.
One of those guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was Bill Maher because he's. I feel like he's like very left.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes he's
like left of center. Probably. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what we're talking about.
Anyways. Yeah. Those were my articles.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know. One thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was now that I don't know, we might have already talked about this. I can never fucking remember what I've talked about. But like now that me and MJ were doing all these like little random things, I'm realizing how like difficult it is to be like it's almost like have I talked about this where I want to like a fast forward on the ins and outs of these things. Like if you pursue muraling, maybe I have talked about this where there's like a learning curve to it. But I want to just trying to figure out the fastest path to like that learning curve to me is like a very good skill to have, I think. And I think it's possible to kind of mitigate all like the loss of time and fucking money and these things that you might invest in these things that you want to pursue, but you can't because you don't know enough, if that makes any sense. So for instance, like if I wanted to start doing merchandise, I'm assuming I'm going to lose money, more money in the beginning than the further on I get, right? Because I'm going to make mistakes, not know certain things. There's certain parts of that business that I just didn't think about. And the faster I can go up that learning curve, the better it is financially for me and like strategically and all these things. So it seems like this year, me and MJ, we've been really focusing on like all these other arenas of creating that aren't the standard that we've been fixated on for like the last 10 years, which is painting on wood panels. So with that, there's like this weird learning curve in all these other arenas, and you're like, how do I get past that as fast as possible so that I'm not wasting. It's like doing this podcast. When we first started, we literally would buy stuff every week. It felt like, and then some stuff we were like, "Fuck, we didn't need this. We thought we needed it. We didn't. It made it worse, not better." And so there's that learning curve. And to try to, if like for me, it's like if I'm trying to learn like 10 different avenues that are new to me, and all of them are going to lose me money in some way. That's kind of scary for me, where I go like, how do I mitigate as much as possible to be as successful as possible in these things? And I think that's kind of what makes like decent business people good. You know, like separates like the decent from the really good people is just like the attention to detail that'll save them time and money and effort for no reason. But I don't know. I don't know what you think about that at all.
So like most business people who I've at least tried to learn about, they've tried to start a bunch of different businesses and failed at all of them except for the one that started to work.
Right.
And I guess I'm sort of doing that in a way with how I set up my art business right now, where I'm trying to start all these different things. Right. And I don't really know if there's a way around just doing it without I don't know, I guess you could like take a class or get a mentorship from somebody who's figured it out.
I mean, there's always like your peers that have done certain things in those arenas that you can reach out to. Like for the mural stuff, me and MJ were always talking to Amanda Lynn about it, because she's just a beast in that world. You know, she's put in a ton of time and energy. And so when we have questions, we reach out to her all the time. And she's a great resource because she's super willing to just help us out whenever we need it. She'll tell us to give her phone calls, or she'll call us and we can talk it out or whatever. So, I mean, that's one aspect of kind of trying to fast forward past these learning curves. But I don't know. I feel like.
But beyond that, like, what's better than going through experience, though? Yeah,
but sometimes there's like experience that probably like I feel like there's things where it's like I didn't need the failure it took, like with the equipment we bought, like the stuff that we bought that we 100% didn't need. There was no like, there's no use for that info after doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like, I'm not going to go like, all right, and now in this arena, never buy this thing. It's very specific to this one thing. So it just costed money for a very tiny lesson. Like, if the lesson's worth it, then sure, waste my time and my money. Yeah. But if it's something that's just going to waste money for wasting money's sake, then it's like, how do I skip all that shit in a way? I mean, I think it just comes down to like attention to detail, like trying to be focused on where you can make missteps. And, you know, it's like buying shit from Amazon. Always read the reviews.
Yeah.
You know, I think, I don't know. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about a bit, since it seems like I'm trying to go down all these avenues, and I want to make sure that the business aspect doesn't cripple me while I'm trying to be creative and do these things that seem fun to do. And
for sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's like a balance, like how time versus money, where you could spend a lot of time researching and figuring out all those little details, I guess. And then how much time is that taking away from doing the things you need to do, even if it ends up costing you money? Is that trade-off between time and money figuring out that balance, like, I guess figuring out what your time is worth in that way probably helps a lot. But yeah, beyond that, there's so many things where having to go through them and figure them out on the fly is really the only way where the lessons actually stuck. So, yeah, like for the thing with the podcast equipment, that's really, just learning that through trial and error. And for me, trial and error has been pretty much the only way I get the lessons to really stick.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. There's like, if it's, for instance, if it's merchandise.
Yeah.
Like the trial and error in there, I feel like isn't that useful unless it's a technical aspect that you didn't know about. But if it's just you hiring someone to, mass produce something that you've created, and then they create it and it's just not the level that you wanted it to.
Oh, sure.
And you could have easily went somewhere else. That mistake is a big mistake based on a little detail, like a little bit of whatever. So,
yeah.
But I think maybe just in this kind of environment where pursuing multiple avenues is also exhausting. It's hard to kind of keep focus on certain things. Sometimes you want to just push things through and go like, fuck it, this'll do. And then, I don't know, like at least the artist in us, wants high quality things and has the attention to detail when it comes to the final product. But when it comes to, the stuff before you get to that final product, that's where I see a mistake being made that can be costly based on certain things,
Right. Yeah. But like in that example, part of the reason that what happens because you're leaving it to other people. And I guess you're saying like, how do I do that due diligence in a efficient way? Yeah. Then that's like the whole, like you have to get like some review or something, right? Like you get a recommendation. Yeah. But I guess what I'm more talking about when it comes to trial and error is like, say you make that merchandise and you sell it and nobody buys it. It's like, well, there's no like shortcut to that, like learning that lesson.
Yeah, that I'm less kind of worried about in a way because the reason being is that like the stuff I'm trying to create, as long as I'm kind of stoked on it, then I'm okay with like the failure in a weird way. It's like if that makes any sense. It's like, oh, I'm really excited that I created this thing that I think is really good. If it ends up failing, it fails, but at least I was like stoked on it. I mean, that's how I think of it with what I'm trying to pursue. Or MJ, like she might not be in that similar mindset. She kind of likes more like doodad things, so she's like, let me put my art on this thing. To me, that's not like that interesting to me. Like if I'm gonna make like a T-shirt, for me it's like the delivery system dictates what is allowed on that shirt.
Sure.
And my art, in my opinion, would be boring as fuck to me as a thing on a T-shirt. So I would never pursue that.
Sure.
So I would have to go and say, like, how do I create a T-shirt that I think is an awesome T-shirt and is made for this, medium/delivery system for the design.
Yeah.
And in that way, if I create something that I think would be awesome in that design, then I don't really care that much. 'Cause my hope is that I think people would be stoked on it because I think it's good. And hopefully I built an audience that would understand it enough to see like, oh, this is cool, whatever. But that's a whole different like part that I feel like I kind of understand that end more than the the missteps that can happen financially that can suck as far as like purchasing orders of, let's say, a t-shirt where it's it comes to me and the quality is just not good, and to give that as like the end product to someone who's stoked on the design and everything about it would just be demoralizing for me as like the creator, to be like, I would just never want to do that. So so that financial misstep seems like something you can mitigate if you're looking for something, you know. And I think that goes to maybe seeing what your buddies make, if they make a t-shirt, and seeing how good the quality is there, and kind of figuring out, oh, what do you look for as far as a printer or whatever, something like that, you know? And then saying, and kind of going from there, like, is there like a thing you'll never mess with or something like that? Like, what do you look out for like things that won't last as far as a product, if you're making a button or whatever, you know, like, or like those patches that everyone, like, we got a couple patches from like Bagger, or do we get some from Bagger?
Yeah. Or I don't know if he gave us patches, but yeah.
But Patrick and
Cody.
And what's his name? Zach.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, they all, like, you could see that they designed a patch for like the patch aesthetic or whatever, and Bagger as well. And they I'm assuming they're all friends, so they probably, you know, gave each other like, oh, this is who I go through or some shit like that, based on, you know, this guy does a good product or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm dead wrong, but that's my assumption.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess in that case, it's just more like wisdom of the crowd, kind of just pulling, like, who knows the best about this, and ask them.
But there's got to be some version of, you know, I mean, also YouTube is a fucking all-knowing god.
For sure.
Just like Google.
Yeah.
But we've got that, which is a huge benefit to us as people living today. But, you know, I don't know.
So, yeah. So it sounds to me like you're just trying to figure out, how do I not have to deal with these little stupid speed bump sort of things?
Yeah. Like the speed bumps, I think, are the most annoying thing about this learning curve. Like, I'm willing to learn lessons that are useful, but things that are just, speed bumps for no other reason other than to fucking suck. It's like, there's got to be ways around these things. And I know there's like the old, like, there's plenty of cliches that are probably like, you know, surround yourself with good people or some shit like that. I don't fucking know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm also not the best like team player. So for me, I'm always like, how do I do this without having to like rely on people or things like that?
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah. When it comes to fabricating things, though, it gets to a certain point where you can't do it yourself. So, yeah, that makes sense to have that concern for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, like, a one person operation, like, you only have so much money to throw at a problem too.
That you know of. Maybe I struck gold.
Maybe you did get in that time machine, invest in Amazon.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pick your brain about what I should do.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I feel like that's one of those, maybe that's the lesson involved. Like, how do you not let those little speed bumps hold you back too much?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, how do I dodge those speed bumps as many as possible?
Right.
That's my thought process.
For sure.
And if anyone's got any ideas how to dodge speed bumps, yeah, or you know when you see a speed bump and you only go over one wheel and it kind of makes it easier to go over.
Right.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Even.
What's the art equivalent?
Maybe I take a half a hit on financially, but not a full hit. I don't know. And because even like with this like painting thing, I think you realize at some point, like there's so many little details to the business aspect of it, and how you present your work as a, like as a finished piece. Mm-hmm. So many like little details. Shout out to David Chaffetz. Go to his fucking page. Mm-hmm. He'll show you how he packs his paintings.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You'll see the detail he puts into these little things, And each little thing is like, when you, like, if you're not doing it and you see it, you go like, oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense, because when it gets to the gallery, they appreciate these little details, and things like that. Or if you commissioned, if it's a commission piece or whatever, or if you order things from some artist and they'll send like a little extra whatever, like if you buy an original piece, and sometimes they'll like draw on the box really quick or something like that. Like all these little things that are just kind of business, but also like details that make people appreciate you as the artist. I don't know, like those are the things where you realize like, oh, there's so many little details you can do to make people appreciate you as an artist, and hopefully support you more while you pursue this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I get all those details for all these things how do I upload them? Do you know Neo is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And can you give me his number? But I don't know. That's the topic I had. It's not my usual rant. It's more me confused than me pushing my agenda on the mass, or whatever.
On the man in front of you.
It's just me confused, trying to figure shit out.
Is there anything like specifically that's come up for you in that regard recently?
What do you mean?
Like that some weird speed bump that came up?
No, I'm just kind of, I'm anticipating it. That's the word I was looking. I know I've seen it before where like people, who was it recently? I know on Instagram or something, someone printed out a book and it just wasn't the quality they were looking for. Who the fuck was that?
Yeah, Kickstarter seems to be where people deal with that shit all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whenever, because I think a lot of it is because a lot of them go through their, what do you call it? Their manufacturers are in China. So they're going through the cheapest route, and there's a language barrier to deal with.
For sure.
So
what's that website called again?
Alibaba.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you kind of like make bids, right, on what you want, and you get like suppliers who.
I've never done it. MG's done it before.
I think that's how that works. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but,
I have no idea.
Yeah, so I'd say that's probably where a lot of that stuff happens, miscommunication.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can't remember who the fuck I'm thinking of, but someone was not happy with. So they printed out all these books and they were like, can't sell them.
Right.
But I mean, I see it all the time here and there. Even if they do sell it, you see it's like not the best product that they're selling.
Yeah.
And you're like, you probably shouldn't have sold this. But I'm trying to not do that.
Yeah.
Because that's the other issue is like, if I bought a bunch of shit, the like urge to sell it even though it's not at the highest quality is also going to be there. Because you're like, I spent a ton of money. It's not the highest quality. Maybe I should just sell it to try to recoup some of the money I spent.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing.
So you're going to have that urge. And you're going to, I don't know. To me, it's like, how do I just dodge that whole thing?
I know.
Dodge that bullet. Shout out to Neo. Once again, it would come in handy.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you just can't predict if something like that's going to come up. like, I guess the best you can do is like cross all your T's and dot your I's.
Yeah. Or find someone that'll give you a sample run. I think those Alibaba people, they don't do that unless you like you order like a crazy amount.
Oh.
Then they're like, we'll give you a sample then, or something like. No, I don't think it's that. I think like the sample costs like half of what a normal order would cost.
Okay.
So you're like, I don't want to pay half for one sample when I could just pay whole for like 500 or some shit. You know?
Oh, you mean like half of your total order for
it's
one
like something
sample?
ridiculous.
Jeez, yeah.
We're like, I would just buy all the order and fuck, wasting my time with one sample when it's not that big of a cost difference.
Yeah, that's crazy because most people who do publishing of any sort, whether it's books or prints or whatever, there's that whole like printer proof part of it, and that's where you're supposed to be able to do the quality control.
Right.
So if they don't even let you do that, that's pretty crazy.
For sure. So get ready for my Pogs dropping soon.
Yeah. 90s, what up? Bring it back.
Bring it back. Get in front of the curb because you know it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
Artist-based Pog runs.
Yeah.
That could totally become a thing.
How has it not become a thing?
I know. Should we do this?
Yeah.
Just fucking contact 50 artists and be like, you want to design a circle image?
Yeah.
And we'll make Pogs and
yeah, like the ever growing in popularity, the coasters that they do for shows go even smaller.
Yeah, well, you just make the show like regular size circle things, but then you sell like a set of Pogs for
That's
like
awesome.
$10.
Right.
Yeah, that's a genius idea. Hey, no one can steal this shit.
We're cutting it out.
We recorded this shit 7, 8, 19. If you fuckers do it, we get a chunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a great show, and you can merchandise the shit out of it. Hit us up, galleries that like merchandising that spoke art.
Yeah. Spoke art. Yeah. If we see in the next year that you're doing a Pog show, we better get that cut. Give us our curation fee.
Yep. Get us that cut.
Yep.
But yeah, that would be and then who gets to be the slammer? That's the real question.
That's a good question. Should it be by weight of the artist?
Whoever can do the best 8-ball design.
Yeah, exactly. 8-ball.
I think Nate wins that one.
Yep. Nate's a slammer.
It works out anyways. But yeah, that was a random idea that really kind of sounds good now.
Yeah. I like it.
Who's got the space? And who's got the plug for Pog fabricators?
Well, yeah. Where do they do that? The Mondo Tondo show. So there's a market for circular pieces.
Mondo Tondo?
I think that's what it was called. I think it was Arcadia Contemporary who did that show as all round pieces. Yeah.
You're not gonna want an Arcadia Pog.
Yeah.
No, I love Arcadia and the fucking work that they curate.
Yeah.
Is amazing. But as a Pog, I mean, you're not gonna want them. You're gonna want cool ass Pogs. You're gonna want fucking like Nate Van Dykes, and
right.
A lot of our guests would be good, like Patrick.
For sure.
Matthews.
Yeah.
He could do some cool shit like his frog, neon like frog.
Oh, yeah,
animals.
yeah.
That'd be cool on a fucking Pog.
Yeah.
Same with Cody and all those. Anyone that's doing like old skater 80s shit or things like that.
So none of you classical realists, like, stay out. I mean, not invited.
It would be cool to have a couple, but Arcadia, they just the I feel like the vibe that they put out there is so like traditional, almost in a calming way. Mm-hmm. I don't want my fucking Pogs to be calm. Yeah, that much right now.
Can't slam when I'm when I'm calm.
I want that shit to be screaming at you.
Yeah. Did you have a big Pog collection as a kid?
I had an okay Pog collection.
Yeah,
so here's the
same.
issue is, like, we were poor, so I don't know how I got my first, like, couple Pogs.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I got to make sure that I only move up from here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't lose any of my 4 Pogs.
Yeah.
I have to only gain Pogs, so I have to always try to make sure I won.
Right. Yeah.
That's
I forgot about that aspect of like, you get to like take them when you win. Yeah.
So I had friends that their mom would buy them all the Pogs they wanted.
Yeah.
And I was steadily winning them off of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Stealing them with skills.
and I'm pretty sure they gave me like my first Pogs, you know, like my friends. I don't know. I can't recall my mom ever buying me Pogs. And I think I remember my buddy Russell, I think he gave me my first Slammer. And then I just stole the shit. Not stole, but like beat him
right.
at Pogs so much that I got a decent collection.
Huh. I'm curious, like, if I were to look at Pogs now, like, would I know the art and artists that are on it?
I know there was like, there'd be like eyeballs, and I remember there was, because I think didn't they start as like a milk box container thing?
Right. I think they're from like Hawaii or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah. They were originally called milk caps. Yeah.
So these are the details, and as a kid I learned that somehow stick. Like, how the fuck do I remember? Like, oh yeah, Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would have that little like mark. They would have like the original ones would have like a little like U mark, I think, right?
Like
like
a
that.
little like
Like-
indentation in them?
Yeah, like a little
Yeah.
cut, like a U.
Is that like, I guess you like puncture it or
I have
something?
no
and
fucking
take
clue.
it out. But yeah. Yeah. And like they looked more like labels, right? In the beginning.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The details we hold on to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to. It would be cool to see. I feel like in my head I remember most of them, but
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure a floodgate of memories would pop up if I looked up like Pog designs.
Yeah. There were, ever popular skulls and 8 balls.
Eyeball, like an
Yeah.
eyeball
Yeah.
one.
Eyeball. Anything. Yeah. Circular.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some dice ones.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Probably like monster faces.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they were pretty parallel to like skateboard deck designs.
Yeah, there was probably some like, you know, like the 90s hip hop style too. Like something like that. I could see like,
Yeah, that and like that old, that 90s style of comic book art, like Todd McFarlane and all that shit.
yeah,
It's probably on there.
yeah. I would have to look it up.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I put the keyboard.
Oh,
It's right there. But
maybe there's some Mir 1 Pogs out there too. Yeah.
exactly. But
Let's look this shit up.
let's go to the web.
You just got hit with a classic waiting to try tangent.
So like some of these like these kind of remind. Look, there goes that little marking. You see it?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
A lot of skulls.
A lot of skulls, yeah.
lot of bright
I remember that skull
color.
design. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember the saw blade Pogs.
Oh yes, saw blades.
I forget,
that's
what was
right.
the point of those?
I don't know. A lot of like shiny ones.
Yeah.
Too.
The foil one, yeah.
Like the Mad Magazine guy. Looks
Yeah.
like. See things like that with like cars.
White Bronco Mania. So that totally gives you the timeline of when this was happening.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
I don't remember this logo
Ducey,
here
yeah.
for some reason.
It looks familiar.
Ducey. Yeah.
Batman, of course. Like the Batman logo. There's like some W, probably F at that point, Pogs.
Bad Boy OJ.
Yeah.
Bad Boy OJ. That's awesome. OJ in the Slammer. Holy shit, that one's kind of dark. There's a random amount of OJ ones. Ken Griffey Jr. and Pog.
That's funny.
Hopefully we're not boring you with our Pog talk.
It's memory lane, except for all you like 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Exactly. Whatever. You guys learn something so you can bring it up. Like I mean, whatever. All the 20-year-olds, anyways, they're hijacking this shit, anyways. You guys should be
Right, yeah.
So,
Exactly, yeah. That's going to be the next little hipster thing.
yeah, everyone that was born in the 90s is like, remember this? You're like, you were fucking one.
Yeah.
You don't hear me talking about the 80s like I remember it, hella.
The most he did with Pogs was chew on them.
Remember these tubes?
Yeah.
Keep them in your, like, they're like the M&M mini tubes.
Right. Did you have tubes like that too?
I had like short ones.
Yeah, so did I.
I didn't have the giant ones. I don't know. Whatever. All right, we're done with Pogs. Goddamn. That was a segue from the ass end of my random shit I want to talk about.
All right.
Hell yeah. Are we doing all right on time?
We're close to an hour and a half.
Hell yeah. Do you have any plans for this next week?
Not really. Just keep working on the pet portraits I got going on right now. Mm-hmm. Picked up one of those.
Nice.
Working on one for Heather, who won the Trickel, the diamond or the hexagonal one.
Oh,
so excited to keep working on that piece as well.
Nice.
And let's see what else. Just working on finishing up these two aquarium pieces I'm taking to the local gallery. Mm. So those are almost done. So that's
local gallery, that's what it's called?
Oh, Christopher Queen Gallery.
Oh, for sure. I had something else I wanted to talk about.
All right.
It's the topic about struggle. Uh-huh. So there's like this idea that to be a good artist, you need to have struggled. I've heard it before. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, it almost is like one of those things where I feel like I could probably be convinced that that's true in a way. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. For me, I've been thinking about that and thinking like, is it? Because the thing is like, if you grew up in like the 1800s, right? You had like no running water or some shit, and like mm-hmm. I don't know if electricity was that common back then. Mm-hmm. Like your life probably sucked ass compared to my life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a big gap in like comfort as far as a human being is from that person who probably used like corn husk to wipe their ass compared to like me as like this shit's single ply. This is bullshit, right? So, I mean, the struggle aspect is like, can be, it's like, what do I have to complain about versus that person, in the whatever, when they didn't have running water or some shit.
Sure.
So, like, does that mean, like, so does that validate their work? Oh, like anyone's work whose time period was tougher to live in mm-hmm. more than, ours or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't fucking know. There's like the artist that what was like Goya or whatever would paint war a lot mm-hmm. and shit like that. But then what I was thinking was like, it seems like artists for the most part have this like large amount of empathy as far as human beings. I feel like we probably lean towards being more empathetic than the average bear. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think that kind of ability to feel what other people feel mm-hmm. almost allows you to not necessarily have to rely on struggle to validate your work, but more kind of allows you to feel something to where you're able to convey that through your work. So if you think struggle is an important key or pain is an important key or something like that, mm-hmm. then I don't necessarily think you have to put yourself through the pain mm-hmm. to be able to comment on it and create some good artwork from it.
Right.
I don't know. This is just something that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like if you go back to the 1800s, I mean, there's plenty of shitty art that was being made back then too.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired!
Was that super loud?
That was pretty loud.
So I don't think it's like the overall like how hard it was to live in the world has much to
Right.
do with it. I don't know if it's like personal struggle that has more to do with it because, I mean, for me, what I kind of are thinking about in that way, if you think of a lot of art being like creative problem solving, if you grew up in a way where you're constantly having to solve problems in your life of some sort and persevere through them, then maybe you're in a better situation to for your art to be better suited for that.
Right.
So maybe in that way it kind of makes sense.
What I mean is more like for like subject matter. You know what I mean? Like more like you have something worth saying.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's less than like the technical aspect or something where people might say like good art
Right.
has struggle in it because it has something to say rather than
Right. But yeah, that's even what I mean, where it's, yeah, because you're dealing with these heavy subjects. So, and you come from this heavy life. So you're already kind of used to dealing with heaviness of life in that way. But I don't know. I guess it depends on if it's your opinion that, the more heavy that of the subject matter that you deal with, the more valid your art is.
I mean, no, this isn't what I've just heard this.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that argument too.
You know, the argument of like struggle makes good art. And I mean, there's parts of it that I say, I mean, there's different routes to everything. You know, like I'm not saying that you don't like, I'm not saying that struggle doesn't create good art. I'm just saying, I don't know if it necessarily means that the lack of struggle creates bad art.
Right. And it seems like, yeah, there are a lot of, I guess, critics who look at art that is quote unquote not like born out of a struggle.
Right.
Seems to be like less worthy.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to bring up is just that whole thing. And like, I think it's not correct in thinking that. I mean, I think it is great if someone has a struggle and they've figured out a way to, you know, portray it in their work in a way that is great to look at or listen to or watch or whatever. And I think that can make a great piece of work. But I don't think that's the only way to make great work or, you know, or probably even the most common way to make great work. To be honest, I think most people that probably go through struggle aren't like really thinking about creating some shit, you know, like making a painting. I think that's probably much more rare than being able to kind of have a parent or something that is willing to allow you to pursue these avenues of creativity, which to me would seem like they would birth good things or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, if that's true, then I'm fucked because my life's not been much of a struggle at all when it comes to creating my art if I'm ever going to do anything great. But for me, like, I don't know, I look at art and I'm not that interested. What situation they created their art in is not even like close to my top concern.
Yeah, but there is moments like, for instance, if I listen to Kendrick Lamar, right?
Sure.
There are moments in his music where he'll say something where unless you've been in these kind of environments, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't see like the humor in it or the like authenticity of it.
Sure.
And for me, when I see that, even though he's not explaining, he might not be explaining like his story in that moment, but that his experience allows for that moment to then be more meaningful, at least to me, where it's like it's more authentic and it's more true about this environment. So to me, it makes a better piece of work than someone who's creating rap music who's talking about this shit but hasn't lived it, right? So, so there is something good if you have done it, but it doesn't mean that it's like, you see it now today with like rap music where people will just talk about, like there seems to be less of a pressure to kind of prove that you're street savvy or some shit.
Totally.
So you're allowed to kind of talk about what you know in a way where you can create great work that isn't fucking trying to prove you're the hardest fucking person or whatever. You're allowed to, that you lived in the hood or whatever. It's like you're allowed these freedoms to kind of use the art form in whatever way possible, which creates good shit.
Right.
But it's also like, I think that's probably, I don't know, the authenticity of the struggle is great, but it's not necessary. I'm just keep going back to the same point, but
yeah. I wonder if authenticity is almost a relative thing, like what you were saying about Kendrick Lamar. If it goes over somebody's head that those moments in the music that you connect to, particularly because you've gone through some version of that in your life, maybe, and then somebody else who's listening to it is just like, well, I don't get that, but like, I don't know, maybe they're like some Hollywood rich kid, and
right?
Like they hear music that's made by other Hollywood rich kids, and they're more into it, or like there's something about that rings true to them. So if that authenticity is like a personal experience, or do we have like as a society or maybe just in general culture that there's certain things that we hear and are just like, oh, that is generally known as authentic, like kid from the streets makes this really good music, and we just look at it like,
I don't know. I think authenticity just reads as authenticity, even if I'm not able to like connect based off of my own experience.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know. It's like when you watch a fucking YouTube video and you can tell it's fake.
Sure.
It's like almost instantly you're like, this is bullshit. They're acting.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it seem real, but it's fake or something like that. It's
right.
Like, and like Kendrick Lamar, there's like this, it seems like they have this huge appreciation based on how kind of authentic he is. He's also just a really good musician.
Right.
But like, I have to think that the authenticity and him being able to kind of go there and be good in it, allows for him to create good work. And I think that connects, even if you don't get the reference or anything like that, you just kind of get a window into a part of him that maybe you don't totally understand, but you can appreciate. I don't know where we're going with this.
And I guess, I don't know, I'm just trying to play a different side to it where, if there's somebody who's making music, even if it's like looked at as like a Hollywood kind of like vapid kind of lifestyle that people from the outside look into it, just
like
think
Kanye?
Not even Kanye, more just like, I don't know, like hipster kids in maybe like Brooklyn or something, like wherever like people think it was like thought of as being kind of like empty. I
can't even
as
think
a
of
culture.
Maybe I'm just not into this music at all.
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think of like
EDM or some shit.
Yeah, I guess so. Like that kind of shit. Like if like you're making music for people who are into like
doing drugs and dancing all night long,
but like you're doing it like sincerely, maybe there's some authenticity to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest EDM fan, but I feel like there's something in there. People,
right?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's got to be.
if I'm using that as like the stand-in for this idea,
Yeah.
like I very much don't like EDM as a music,
Sure.
but at the same time, it is like this thing, right, where like a bunch of young kids go to these concerts that I'm sure aren't cheap to get into and
Right.
do a shitload of drugs and dance all night,
Right.
which takes somewhat of privilege to be able to do that. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just kind of do that without having somewhat of money, like
Yeah.
some ability to, you know, get there, do that, get home, be safe. Assuming
Yeah. Or not. Yeah.
or die, whatever. But so if that's like the stand-in, I still can't knock the fact that people want to like have a good time and dance and enjoy life, and that they have some urge to kind of pursue that. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that they connect to that music based on that doesn't confuse me at all. And for that reason, I can't, like, even though I don't like the music at all, I can't really hate on it as far as, like, it's just not for me.
Right. But
it's
yeah,
boring.
that music is never like thought of as like this high art form, really.
Right.
So, yeah, but then at the same time, if you're really into that music, you probably have like this certain
Guess
standard.
you never heard the beat drop on some Skrillex, bro.
I guess not.
Dubstep, it's a movement.
Yeah. That and Pogs were bringing it all back.
But yeah. I don't know.
So that's why I was wondering if that authenticity is relative to a certain extent, which I don't know. I've just thought of it now. I have no idea.
Authenticity is relative to a certain extent as far as like class? Is that what you mean?
I guess more within groups.
I mean, what I mean is like, yeah, like you can be in any group and authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean? Like I think you can be in any group and authentic. I think the moment you're full of shit, you know what I mean? Like you can be, as long as you're not like faking it. I think is like you can be rich and feel free to explain. Like the issue I think with rich is that like most people aren't rich.
Yeah.
So for you to like connect to their struggle or whatever, or their fucking story is going to be tough in general.
Right.
I don't think it's impossible to explain. I just think it's going to be tough to actually make people understand that your life is hard, because for the most part, most people aren't going to see a billionaire and go like, oh, that's tough, you know,
Right.
because we all find money as value, and you
Yeah.
have all the value. Why are you complaining? Like the struggles most people have, you don't struggle with. So, but I don't think that has to do with authenticity.
Yeah,
as much
I don't
as-
think so either. It just, I think that people confuse that with like what you're saying. Like most people, if they hear a billionaire complain, they're just gonna be like boo hoo, unless you have a
Right.
good way of showing it through your art of whatever it is.
Right.
Like, if you're a really good musician, that happens
But I
to
think
be a
that's in
billionaire.
general, though, right? Like, no matter whose boohoo story it is, I'm not going to give a fuck unless you've explained it right.
Right.
You know, we've all heard like boohoo stories that are probably legitimate, but we're like, all right, go cry somewhere else.
Right.
Because they haven't explained them. And
Yeah.
if art is a version of communicating and you don't communicate it well, then the viewer or the listener or the whatever doesn't necessarily owe you the time of day because you didn't create the thing worth investing time into, whatever your authentic story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a complicated thing to deliver, but and authenticity isn't necessarily the end all be all
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
of good art. But I think it's important in art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way. But yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with, like, when it comes to struggle. Like, It's also what you're saying too. Like it doesn't matter how much you're struggling if that's part of it. If you're not making that into a good story through your art, most people just aren't gonna give a fuck.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You've got to create some good shit in general for anyone to care.
Right.
Or be Pollock, whatever.
Right.
Fucking guy.
Well, yeah, it sounds like somebody else made a good story out of it for him.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I don't even, his life, that's the other thing is like, I don't necessarily need your life story in your work.
Yeah.
Either. That doesn't mean authenticity.
Neither do I. Yeah.
You know, you can tell a story or no story at all and still be authentic in what you're creating. I think most of the time with like paintings and things like that, the moment you're being unauthentic is usually like when you're going, it's almost like that's why people hate coons and shit like that, you know, or whatever the fucking other guy's name is, Hearst,
yeah.
Because it seems like their actions are based off of market and building a brand, you know, to further this shit that isn't really creative at all. But who knows? Maybe this is authentically them. They just enjoy the market and trying to fuck with it to create more money. I have no clue, but that doesn't mean I have to like their work,
right?
Either. So, but yeah, I don't know. But those are the moments, you know, when it seems like they're kind of fucking with art for monetary gains and not being authentic in doing so. You know, when it seems like they're full of shit.
Right, yeah.
Which there's plenty of artists that are full of shit. Whenever you hear them talking about shit in their work, that's like, you know, full of shit stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like crystals and fucking whatever.
Right.
Energy spaces or some, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just talking shit now.
We all know who they are.
Yeah,
out there.
people who think they're witches. You know who you are.
I need a little button for like shots fired at MJ in particular.
But you know, when you hear people talk about art, I remember Chris Lieb, he had a video on his fucking his stories. He was at a museum and this guy's just like it's like audio of this artist rambling about his shit.
Oh really?
I was just like, oh, that sounds horrible. He's like, it was the worst. But it's when you listen to like 5 seconds or stories are 15 seconds or something. Yeah. It's like you can hear in the guy, just like the 15 seconds you hear, you're like, God, that's bad. You know, it's
right.
It's just like a bunch of mumbo jumbo that has no real direction or anything. It's just
right when it sounds like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Like take it however you will. Like maybe it's not directly trying to sell his work in that, but like there's part of it that's like me more, so you'll buy it.
Yeah. It sounds like those rappers that use a shitload of big words. Right. The diabolical molecule, phenomenal, and you're like, you're not even saying shit. You're just saying a bunch of big words, bro, and none of it means shit. You're just
right.
Yeah. I think that's what that's when you hear that shit, you're like, bullshit artist.
Exactly.
You're not saying shit, man. But yeah.
Yeah. Every underground rapper from like 99 to 2002.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it? Cannabis.
Although he was out of that group. He
Sergio's like, although no diss to Cannabis, he's kind of my hero. I'm just kidding.
He did take down LL Cool J in some eyes.
But yeah, I don't know.
You just find out I'm like this huge Cannabis fan.
I know, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I said backpack rapper, bro, not Cannabis.
Yeah.
The genius of our time. All right, should we call this a done? You look like you're gonna die over there. You keep coughing up phlegm and shit.
Have mercy on me, please.
Just what's the worst words to say when you're when you're sick? K words, you think? Like things that'll make your like back of your throat like maybe G words.
Like gargling.
Yeah.
Gargling.
All right. Well, hopefully you get better, Sergio.
I hope so too.
Our listeners obviously are going to pray for you to God Google.
Yeah.
That he'll cure you of all your sicknesses.
Love you, God.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're good.
I think so.
Waiting dry. Fuck off. You know the deal.